Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing today? I'm a little chilled this morning, but feeling amazing. I wasn't quite so sure this morning when the dog woke me up extra early, needing to go out, but I got over it. I will say. Let me hit live in all these places, get us all started. All right, and then one more place. You that have been watching me for a while, you're used to this, so just give me a moment while I pull this up on my phone. Make sure that I am in the right place. I got over it. I will. Whoops, one more thing. Sorry. Well, I'm not really sorry. I apologize for having to do all the little things. But I don't have a team of people doing it, so I'm doing it right now. All right, so here we go. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm gonna enjoy the heck out of this discussion today. I was thinking a lot this morning about, Sue Anderson and I have a group membership that we have, and it's called Mining Your Acres of Diamonds. And I was thinking a lot about that group this morning and some of the things that we do in there. And, as I'm thinking about it, when I'll have to, on the 28th, February the 28th at 6 p.m., I believe it is, we are going to do another bingo party. The one we had the other night was so much fun. We created bingo cards, and it wasn't just, and it was all, the bingo cards were all different symptoms of imposter syndrome. And so it was really cool because I went and I created a whole bunch, and then we used this company free bingo card, or I don't remember what it's called. And we created these bingo cards so that everybody got their own bingo card. And so we still called out, just like you do with regular bingo. It wasn't like you looked at the bingo card and said, yep, that's me, bingo. It wasn't like that at all. It was a real bingo game utilizing that information. And so what was really cool was that as we were going, people were saying, oh, yep, that's me. And then I told them to kind of circle the ones that really resonated with them, and we would kind of have a discussion about it if they wanted. And then everybody that stayed till the end got a bingo card to go home with. Like they weren't home, but they were home. They got one that a digital one that they could print out. And it was a bingo card filled with positive attributes of yourself, how the opposite of imposter syndrome. So it was really fun, and we're doing it again. Like I said, Friday the 28th at 6 p.m. Eastern, and I'm going to be creating an event in the group. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do it with the other places where people are watching and listening. So we'll figure that out. I may just put an invite to the actual bingo game in the description in other places. Well, I'll figure it out. I'll promise I'll figure it out. So when I was thinking a lot about our mining your acres of diamonds, and it began because there's so many people, especially in the entrepreneurial space, coaches and all, that are constantly looking for their gifts, their talents. They're looking for everything outside of them, and it's right under our feet. It's we've got so much within us that we can bring forth, but instead we don't trust that most of the time, and we're going elsewhere. Now, not to say you don't need certifications and things like that. I mean, I have a bunch of them. The thing is sometimes we get our certification, we're really excited about it, we're good at what we do, but instead of really jumping in and letting people know what we do, and getting people the help that they need with what we know, we go and we get another certification. And then we get another one. So we're the perpetual student who learns and learns and learns and doesn't really change the world as we could. So that's kind of how if you've never read the book, My Acres of Diamonds, you definitely need to read it. And that's one of the things when you join our program, our membership, you get the digital version of that. And then Sue, she's the tech person in this partnership. I'm more the mindset person, but she created bots that are in different places in the actual book. So they help you to utilize the information. It's amazing, right? So anyway, on to the affirmation, but that's where it came from, was thinking a lot about that this morning, because we've got so much going on. And we also have let's see, we've still got a couple of spots open in the Rewrite Your Money Story. If anybody wants to pop in, it just started this past week, and so there's still time to get in. So all you have to do is, if you're interested in finding out the information, then I'll be more than happy to share it with you. So just put in Rewrite or Money Story, put Rewrite in the comments, and I will definitely get you the information, because it is so much information that is changing from the moment you start. And so we still got just a couple of spots. We're trying to keep it small so that it's more intimate and we can help people more. And so we have this story within us, and it's time to change it, right? No matter where you are in your financial abundance life, whether you feel like you need a lot more, or you're kind of feeling like, I'm good. But that may be a story too. And you may have the ability within you and the deep, deep desire to do even more, but you're getting comfortable there, and it may be time to shift the switch on that as well. So anyway, put Rewrite in the comments if you want the information, and I'll be happy to get that to you. And while I'm thinking about it, I just put it up yesterday. There's an event on Monday, the 24th, in the group here with Alpesh Patel. I think that's how you say his last name. But he is a physical therapist, and he has this amazing box of products that are for wrist health. And being a hairstylist for over 30 years, I need some wrist work, and so anybody that does repetitive movements, and he is so knowledgeable about so much. And I thought there would be a beautiful space to allow people to maybe talk to the physical therapist and say, this is something I got going on. What do you think? So check it out and go ahead into the events section in the Stand Up and Stand Out community, and go ahead and register to be there, so you'll get the notifications and everything. All right, enough of the sales pitch. All right, so our affirmation today is, well, it wasn't really a sales pitch. It was just an explanation, and wanted to give you all the information that you needed to make sure that you put things on your calendar and take advantage of all the things that are offered. All right, so our affirmation for today is, I am cultivating the garden of my mind with care and intention. With care and intention. My gifts and talents are abundant, like gold and diamonds waiting to shine, and today I nurture them to grow and thrive. because we are constantly doing something with the garden of our mind. We're feeding it or we're neglecting it. So just imagine you've got a garden outside and that it's the middle of the summer or it's the spring when it's time to plant. And you go out there and you just take the seeds and you just kind of toss them. And what's going to happen? The birds are going to come and eat them. The rain's going to come and wash them away. They're not, if you're lucky, something will grow. But we want to do more than just haphazardly just toss the things around, right? It's like I talk all the time about most of the time we're sitting on a boat in the ocean. We don't have a motor. We don't have oars. We don't have anything. We don't even have a sail. We are there just being tossed around to whatever is going on. But it's time to take control. Start cultivating the garden of your mind with care and intention. Who do you want to be? What do you want to be known for in your life? What do you want to feel? It's time to really be thinking about this. I mean, what is it? The best time to make a change is now. You can't do it yesterday, and you're wasting time if you start tomorrow. The time is now. And remember, the I am statements are ultra powerful. They are claiming that as truth. That is you. And then your subconscious mind starts going into auto mode of, well, let me go through the data banks. Is this true? Is this true? It must be true. She said it's true. Because it doesn't know the difference between truth and fiction. You sit and you have this imaginary conversation with someone. And I don't know if you've ever had this experience. You have this imaginary conversation with someone. So you know you're going to be seeing someone later today. And the last time you talked, it was kind of ugly, right? And so as you're thinking about connecting with that person, you are going through a conversation in your mind about what's going to transpire. You will, good morning, Katya. You will actually have the physical response as if you were actually having that conversation in that moment, but it's not, it's in your imagination. And so when you're going through your day and you're having conversations in your mind, pay attention. What are you doing? It's time to take ownership of what your mind is doing. Noticing, right? One of my favorite books is by Michael Singer. It's The Untethered Soul. And in there, he talks a lot about the triggers that cause us to start going down this rabbit hole of thoughts that we don't even recognize that we're doing. There's so much power in creating I am statements that are powerful. So I even make sure if I ever have this feeling, good morning, Ellen, good morning, great to see you. If I ever have a time where I'm not feeling well, right, I make sure that I do not say the word sick after the words I am. I can say, I don't feel so well. I wish I felt better. I can say, I'm getting better. I'm feeling a little off, maybe, but most of the time, I don't like to put any of that after the words I am because I'm claiming it. I don't want to be sick, right? And so our words mean so much. And I love, I'm really doing a lot now with studying some things about language because it is so interesting. The way the words that we use have so many hidden meanings underneath them that our subconscious catches, but we don't so much. And so it's learning what we're saying to ourselves. But today, I want you to really play with this one. I am cultivating the garden of my mind with care and intention. My gifts and talents are abundant. like golden diamonds waiting to shine. And today I nurture them to grow and thrive. And I was just sharing with you about the Mining Your Acres of Diamonds program. It's a group membership, and it is amazing to help with cultivating the garden of your mind. And so where can you connect with people who will help you to cultivate the garden of your mind? That the garden, like I was talking about, with you got the garden out there in the spring, you don't just toss the seeds, you plant them places that they're going to grow. You study it and well, this one goes this deep. These need to be this far apart. You take the time, if you want to cultivate a garden, to know how deep they need to be. Some things go really deep in the ground so they have bigger, longer roots. Some things need to be a little more shallow. So cultivating your mind with care and intention is paying attention to the people that you're around. And that's not to say that you just say, oh, I'm growing and I'm becoming, baby, so you can't be my friend anymore. No, we want to keep nurturing our relationships, but the ones that are not nurturing us and are not supportive, you might want to put them a little bit to the side and not spend so much time focused on them. And I talked about this just a few days ago, because there are times, like I had a friend, I have a friend, and she was, we would always go to dinner on Friday nights. A bunch of us would get together, and she had one friend from childhood that was there. And oh my gosh, she was such a depressing person. She was so negative. And I even asked my friend, I said, why do you have her around when she obviously is not good for you, right? And she said, well, we've been friends since we were little kids. And I said, but that's okay. You can still be friends, but you don't have to invite her to every friggin' thing that comes around, because she spends the entire time belittling you. So there's a thing sometimes where we have friends that we've had for a long time, and maybe that friendship has run its course, and it's time to make some new friends that are supportive. And so you don't say, you're not my friend anymore. I mean, that's what kindergarten talk. It is, you just can step away just a little bit. And who knows, maybe they will start coming up to where you are instead of trying to drag you down to where they are. Because that's part of cultivating the garden of your mind. Does that make sense? Have you ever had that experience where you have someone around and sometimes you think, why am I here? Why do I let them do this to me? Sometimes it happens in romantic relationships too, right? Yes, boundaries are great, and I'm learning to do this step away. Yes, Alan, thank you for sharing that. And it's not that easy to do, but it's important. And like I said, it's not like you're kind of burning the boats and saying, I'm not ever going to talk to that person again. Because everybody changes. You have, right? That's why you're not connecting anymore in the same way, because I will say I had one friend that I just kind of stepped away from, because the only thing that we had in common was he had the same complaint. And once I got past it, where that's not a big deal anymore, I'm moving on, and I didn't want to stay stuck in that space. And she stayed there and kept trying to pull me into it. And finally, I just didn't call her for a while, and she didn't call me, because we didn't have that common thread anymore. And it's just like I shared the other day about the woman that was a client who lost her husband, and she was going to grief group at church. And after a while, she said, I don't think I want to go to that group anymore, because they're all still the same depressed space that they were in the beginning. And she said, I want to live. I don't want to stay stuck in that constant depression of the loss. I said, then it's time to step away and start celebrating life, yours and the life of your spouse, who was amazing for you, right? Start focusing on that and living your life. And so we can stay stuck sometimes, So it's time. It's time today to start cultivating the garden of your mind with care and intention. Who do you listen to? Who do you allow into your world, into your physical space? Who do you allow into your mind? I've noticed a few things on TV recently. Not to say that I don't indulge in some of that silliness, right? And silliness is not the right word, but there's some shows out there that have some ultra violent stuff on there, and it's like, oh my gosh, there's a few things that it sounded like it was a really good show to dive into, and I start watching, and I think, oh my gosh, why am I watching this crap? This is just inundated with so much violence and killing and blood and but it was entertaining in a way, right? But it sucks you in sometimes. And all of a sudden I would say, what am I doing? Why am I feeding this to my precious mind? And I'd step away. So sometimes you don't even realize what you're doing, but when you do, then it's time to take action, right? To cultivate the care and the intention of the garden of your mind. But on top of that, recognizing that the gifts and the talents that you have, nurture them, baby. Nurture them, right? Share them like golden diamonds waiting to shine. Nurture, grow, and thrive. You got the tools. And if you need some help, get some people around you that are on the same path, maybe a little above you, right? Because one of the things I shared with somebody one day was like, if you're the smartest person in every room you go in, and I mean every group you attend, everything, then you're in the wrong room. You're supposed to be going in a room where you kind of at the middle or at the bottom so that people can elevate you and you can start growing and nurturing you. And then you start elevating others. But then when you get to the top of that room, it's time to go to a new room. You can still keep all those friends that you made along the way. You can pull them with you. Maybe they're trying to get up there with you. But looking at your gifts and your talents, oh man, they are the gold and the diamonds under our feet. It's time to nurture them, grow, and thrive. All right, now let me go to the journal prompt. Give me just a second. Let's see if it's too long. Good. All right, so our journal prompt. What gifts and talents within me are ready to be nurtured and shared? Because nurturing is amazing, right? Growing those talents and really, putting the sun out there, letting it just enough rain to be on them, putting the seeds as deep as they need to be, really knowing what's out there. And you don't go out there and dig up the seed to make sure it's working. No, you know what you're doing. You've planted everything at the right depth. So you know it has the ability to grow into an amazing, amazing plant, right? You're making sure it's got the sunshine. If there's not enough rain, you're going out there and you're watering it. You're doing all the things, right? So what are those gifts and talents in you that maybe you've been watering for a while, but you haven't really done anything with? Maybe it's starting to grow, but it's just there. I know I can do that. And we do that with a lot of things, especially things that come so easy to us. Something that comes easy to you, you don't even realize that it's an amazing gift and talent. You just think everybody knows that. That's just as easy. Everybody. Why would anybody want to get that information from me? Everybody knows that. But is that really true? No. So what gifts and talents that are within you are ready to be nurtured and shared? Go kind of into your and think about your life in the past year, right? Maybe something new that you've learned. I just realized I got some mascara under my eye there. Um, what is it that you have learned or something that you knew all along that is easy for you to do, but you see other people sometimes that they don't get it or they struggle with it. Like for me, Sue and I have the Mining Your Acres of Diamonds group, right? Well, we were in the call the other day, and she was sharing some different little things on the screen because she's the tech person, right? I'm the mindset guy or person, and she shared this one little tip that to her it was like, all right, well, I know you know this, but and she did that, and it was like, what? Do that again. And it was like, I have used it over and over and over again since we had our conversation on Monday because I had no idea. And to her, it was like, eh. So there's something that you know that you do without even thinking. And it's a gift. It's a talent that you have, something that you've nurtured within you. But now it's time to look at it as that gift and that talent and not take it for granted. And then just ready to nurture it more, really dive into it, and then share it. Like Sue shared on Monday. And when she shared, I talked to somebody later and I said something about this thing that she did. And she said, I know. She said, who knew? I had no idea. I said, me either. And so she showed up and she talked kind of, it was like, no big deal. But to several of us, it was like, holy smokes. That one thing saves me a ton of time. So look at your life. What are those gifts and talents that you've been taking for granted? And then what are the gifts and talents that you're learning to grow right now? What have you planted that you've been hoping there would be a harvest and you hope people like it? What's that thing for you? And for me, I've got a couple of those things. Sue and I started the Rewrite Your Money story. That's been within me for a long time because I became a health coach, a life coach, a master transformational coach. And that's something that I studied in all of that, right? Money mindset and things. But I've been sitting on it. I've been playing with it myself. But did I nurture it and share it? No. So I reached out to Sue and I said, hey, we love doing this Mining Your Acres of Diamond thing, right? I said, we help people with all these things, right? She said, yeah. And I said, how about we do this part? She said, okay, let's do it. So we started that. And then with Christine, because I started as a life coach, started as a health coach, and now I'm all that and a hypnotist, right? So one of the things that I started nurturing was the fact that I started as a health coach and that I still have all this mindset stuff with the hypnosis and everything. So Christine and I started a program it's called Get Your Sexy Back. And it's me doing the mindset work and her doing some cooking and some workouts and things. So I'm nurturing that I have those talents that I've just been letting just kind of sit in the shade. It's no big deal. Just set them in the shade. So I am nurturing these talents, these gifts and talents that I have, and I'm beginning to share them and create things with them, right? That's how we got started with the bingo thing, because in our Mining Your Acres of Diamonds group, I'm doing the mindset part, right? So some of the mindset I'm doing post every day about different mindset things. And I started creating a bingo card a week. And it's like people really liked the bingo card. So I told Sue, I said, well, why don't we just have a bingo party? So we had a bingo party, and now we've got another one coming up. So what are you doing? What gifts and talents are within you that you are ready to nurture? And you can nurture it all day long, but if you don't share it out, that's squandering your gifts and your talents. It's burying your money in the ground and being afraid of losing it. Does that help you any? No. So, what daily practices can I cultivate to help my inner brilliance flourish? What daily practices can I cultivate to help my inner brilliance flourish? Any ideas on that? Any thoughts on that? So, one of my daily practices is coming on here with you, and that helps me to nurture and share my gifts and my talents. But it also gets me in the mindset, the mindset that helps me to cultivate and flourish. And so by you being here, you're doing that one part, right? You're already doing something. So what else can you do? So I have a list of a few things that I can do to cultivate things, and I'm just going to add one of my the bingo card about I am confident in my gifts and my talents. That was the opposite of our imposter syndrome bingo, right? The one that everybody got to go home with was I am confident in my gifts and talents bingo card, right? And one of the ones on here, I make decisive choices daily. So that is one thing you can do with your daily practice to cultivate and help your inner brilliance flourish. You can make decisive choices daily. So when you're going about your day and something's coming up, you decide how you want to react to it. Write it down and meditate and talk with a like-minded friend. Yes, Ellen. Yes, Ellen. I love that. So we get to decide how our life plays out. We are not on the boat in the ocean just tossed around by the waves unless we choose to be. So it is time to make that decision. Do we choose to actively nurture and share? Do we choose to actively cultivate our garden? Or do we just sit back and just let nature take its course, which means the garden runs over with weeds and the plants die? So you get to choose. So it's time to tend to your greatness and watch your brilliance bloom. Ooh, doesn't that sound good? All right, so our affirmation once again is I am cultivating the garden of my mind with care and intentions. My gifts and talents are abundant, like gold and diamonds waiting to shine. And today I nurture them to grow and thrive. Put that on your index card, the screensaver on your phone, your sticky notes, put it somewhere that today you are reminded of who you are. Decide and choose. So I choose mindfulness. Yes, Ellen. Yes, I love that. And then the journal prompt. What gifts and talents within me are ready to be nurtured and shared? What daily practice can I cultivate to help my inner brilliance flourish? So as I always recommend, write it down in your notebook or your journal prompt, the date, the affirmation, the journal prompt. And then take 10 to 15 minutes in just total silence to just connect with that inner guidance, that inner voice, that God voice that is really trying to guide you all the time, but you can't hear it for all the chatter in your mind. So we're connecting with our inner guidance. And then once the timer goes off after 10, 15 minutes, that's when you just get your pen, your pencil out, and you just write, what gifts and talents within me are ready to be nurtured and shared? And just brain dump everything that shows up. Some of them may not even sound like they're gifts and talents, and that's okay, right? Just put it on the paper. It's for you. Nobody else has to see it. Some of them may sound silly. Some of them may sound like they're weird. Some of them may sound like, well, that's not even me. But if your mind is throwing it out there, it is. It's a gift and talent that you have that you haven't even taken credit for or haven't even noticed. Remember, I was talking about the things that come so easy to us that other people would wish they knew how to do? Sue's little tip that she gave in the call, and then I was just poof, mind blown. Oh my gosh. And so were others. So what is that thing that you do? What is that thing that you do that comes so easy to you that you don't even pay attention to it? Make sure that that's on your list too. And then what daily practices can I cultivate to help my inner brilliance flourish? What can you do? Look at all of those talents that you just wrote down. Then how can I nourish each one of those? Maybe several of them can be nourished all at once. So just play with this today. Invite your gifts and talents to come forth. The ones that have been buried down deep inside that you've been afraid to acknowledge. You know, we have a lot of chatter in our minds that has not a damn thing to do with us. It's all about somebody else. Somebody else had a problem with, let's say, somebody else had tried to make a living as an artist and they failed miserably. And they see you as a young child that you have this aspiration of being an artist. What are they going to do? They are not going to nurture and help you grow it. No, because they have this limited belief about what's possible. And so they're going to start telling you, that's kind of silly. That's pie in the sky. You can't make enough money being an artist. You know, your dad's a CPA. You should be a CPA. And they're going to start steering you away from that gift and that talent. And over time, we even forget that it existed. It may be a little tiny memory back there, but it's so tiny because we have been so far away from it. And maybe it's wanting to come back out. There are so many things that we wanted to do when we were young, and somebody guided us in a different direction. Not out of malice, most of the time. It's because they have a limiting belief about it. And so they feel like they're doing you a service so that you don't hurt like they do. But that really didn't help you any, because what if you hadn't listened to that and you had this amazing artistic talent that you were putting out into the world and people loved it, right? There are people that make a lot of money from their art. That could have been you. But the thing is, you didn't allow it. They didn't allow it. So it's time to look at this and see, what are these gifts and talents that are in here, hidden? What are the ones that are obvious? What are the ones that I've played with a little bit, but I haven't really done anything with them? Just write them all down and then start cultivating those gifts and talents every day. And if you have to, pick one and say, oh, I'm going to play with this one for a little bit and just see what happens. Give it 30 days of playing with that little gift and talent and see what shows up for you. And if it doesn't feel good after 30 days, switch to another one. But bring them out. Let them get out and play. You can get them out and play. So what gifts and talents within you are ready to be nurtured and shared? explore it, play with it, imagine. And if that's anything that you need help with, I have helped many people with helping them uncover what those gifts and talents are, because sometimes they are hidden so deep, or our belief about the possibility of utilizing those gifts and talents is so small. Just reach out. I'll be more than happy to have a conversation and a chat to see if I can help you with that. Because we all have so much within us that we don't ever allow to come to the surface. It's time, right? It's time to cultivate that garden of your mind with care and intention. All right. So you guys, thank you so much for being here. And thank you, all of you who are watching. I appreciate you more than you know. And I wish you to really play with this today and see what gifts and talents want to come out and play. Tend to your greatness and watch your brilliance bloom. Have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow tomorrow is Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Mwah.